everyone, and welcome back to STEAMkids with the Washington County Public Library. Here we learn, play, explore, and create together on a ton of different topics. Today we have a super interesting topic and a fun craft where we would be creating a balloon-powered car. But before we make it, we should learn about how it works. So let's learn all about how a balloon can power a car. There's many important forces needed to get something moving, but one of the main ones is a force called thrust, which helps push something forward. And that is what the balloon provides for our balloon-powered car. The act of moving something forward is called propulsion. And this is the same way that airplanes work. Through either their propellers, their engines, or through rockets, it helps create the propulsion needed to move it forward through the sky. And our balloon today actually works super similarly to how a rocket works. When you fill a balloon full of air, but you hold it shut, all of the air is spreading out and evenly pressing on the inside of this balloon. And it creates something called equilibrium, meaning that none of the air is trying to escape and the balloon is not creating any sort of force, so there's no thrust or propulsion. So our balloon is nice and happy. But once I start to let go, it makes a funny sound for one, but for two, that rush of air creates thrust and it can help propulse and move the balloon forward. And that's due to different types of air pressure, and there's an imbalance in the balloon. Farthest away from the neck of the balloon in the hole, there is a different air pressure than that of closer to the hole. And since there's a difference there, it moves. It's really cool. And rockets work the same way. However, rather than the propellant or the thing that creates the thrust being air, like in a balloon, in rockets they have different materials that burn together that create the gas needed to be that propellant. And the propellant in rockets is what takes up the most space and weigh the most in rockets. Ones that are going into space have to bring their own fuel and something that can light it, or an oxidizer, because there's no oxygen in space. And then once the propellant is used to get it up out of our atmosphere and into space, the tanks and the things used to hold all of the propellant aren't super useful anymore. That's why in rocket launches, some parts come off, meaning that the payload, or what they're trying to get to space, has less weight and it's easier to move around in space. The most exciting rocket launches have a payload of people. Often these people are going to the International Space Station. And other times the payloads are things like satellites or research equipment, or even really cool technology like the Perseverance rover that's on Mars right now. So now that we've learned a little bit about rockets and thrust and propulsion and space travel, let's make a balloon-powered car of our own. So included in your kit you got from the library is an informational handout with a reading list, instructions, and other fun facts about our library. You will also have the materials needed to make this balloon-powered car. This includes a piece of cardboard, some cut pieces of straw, you'll have a bamboo skewer, and you'll have 4 cardboard wheels, as well as some masking tape wrapped around a pencil. Now this is special tape. We'll use that to attach our balloon to our straw, since it creates a better, more secure hold than regular tape does. The only other thing that you'll need for this project is regular tape in order to attach your straws and everything to your cardboard base. Now let's get creating your own balloon car. To get an idea of what it'll look like at the end, here is my example of a balloon car. You can see I've got 4 wheels, and they actually are on axles, which are our bamboo skewers, running through the tubes of straw, and I use the end of it and I pulled apart the bendy straw portion, and so I'm able to angle my balloon as I want. I'm also able to angle my straw at the end here a little bit. And in order to get my car to move, you would blow it up. And you want to make sure you pinch it on the end, because remember, right now it has equilibrium. But once we let it go, it'll create thrust and move. And I can't show you a tabletop right now, but when you let go of it, it'll start rolling, which is really cool. And since the air is being pushed out of the straw this way, it's creating thrust this direction. So what direction do you think the car goes in? I think it goes in this direction against the force pushing it that way. So it'll propel it forward the direction of the balloon. So just remember that if you're going to be doing a race or something similar, if you and some friends are making this, or you and some family members, if you want to race your balloon cars, remember that they're going to go in the same direction that the balloon is facing, not the direction that the air is coming out. So let's get started. So now let's get crafting. The very first thing you're going to want to do is take your cardboard base and you will tape your 2 sections of straws on either end of it, like so, and place your tape across so that they stay on. All right, so you should have your straws taped on the bottom of your car now. So you will have this little portion of straw left, and I'm going to, ooh, that's kind of a funny noise, pull the straw out, and so we'll have a nice long straw to attach our balloon to. So now that our straw is pulled out, I'm going to lay it across the opposite side that we taped the straws to. The straws are taped on the back or on the bottom. Now we're going to flip it over. Oop. So now we're going to flip it over and we are going to tape our straw on like this. You will want the longer end, which is typically the end that you're drinking the straw out of. You want the longer end to be out farther, because this is where you're going to tape your balloon to, because it's easier to get a good seal on the smooth part of the straw, and this is the part you'll be blowing up the straw through. So go ahead and tape this down. All right, so now I have my straw taped on the top. So let's now get making some wheels. So you're going to have 1 bamboo skewer that's actually cut in half as part of your kit. Now, one of these ends is going to have a pointy end, and I encourage you to please be careful. Try not to hurt yourself, but your little cardboard wheels have a little pinprick in the center, and I encourage you to use that pointy end to kind of push it through. There we go. And you can do this to all 4 wheels. Using the pointy end makes it a little bit easier. All right, so now all of my wheels have little holes in them. So I'm now going to thread this one through till it's nice and snug. And then I'm going to place it through one of the straws on the bottom. And there's some extra hanging off the end here. I'm going to take one of my other wheels and thread it on. Since this end is a little bit thicker, maybe kind of hard, again, I encourage you to please be careful and try not to stab yourself with a bamboo skewer. That would not be very fun. All right, I now have my wheels on. So I've got 2 wheels on my car and they spin pretty well. Now we're just going to repeat this process with the other skewer and the other 2 wheels. All right, so now our little car has 4 wheels on it that roll pretty well. Our last step is to attach our balloon onto our straw. Now this is where that special masking tape comes in. That is this yellow tape that will be wrapped around a pencil that is included in your kit. The pencil just makes it a little bit easier for you to get the tape off again. So you'll take your piece of masking tape and your balloon, and you will stick your straw into the balloon. Now the balloon is quite a bit bigger than the straw, so we're gonna kind of fold it and fold it over the straw so it's all kind of squished together. Let me show you that. I've folded over the balloon so it's all squished together against the straw. And now my tape has gotten stuck together, so let me see if I can get it apart. It's pretty sticky. And now I'll take my tape, and you'll want to cover that whole joint between the balloon and the straw and wrap it real nice and tight, but make sure not to squish the straw too tight because you still want air to come through it when you try to blow up the balloon. So I've put my first little piece of masking tape on, And now's a good time to give it a test blow to see if it's holding enough air. Let's see. There we go. It worked with the first piece of tape. You may need to add more pieces of tape. You'll have plenty added on your pencil, so feel free to use as much as you need in order to get a good seal between the balloon and the straw. And there we have it, another balloon-powered car. And remember, the car will be moving in this direction towards the end the balloon is in. And that is because the air is pushing out this way, creating thrust, which moves it this direction. Thank you all so much for joining us today for STEAM Kids. This has been a super fun project, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. Have fun racing and playing with your balloon-powered cars. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.